From a Railway Carriage by Robert Louis Stevenson. This is a great poem by Robert Louis Stevenson. I am going to read this poem twice, and in between the two readings, I am going to explain quickly with pictures a few words and phrases which I have put in red. The first time we'll read it slowly. From a railway carriage. Faster than fairies, faster than witches, bridges and houses, hedges and ditches, and charging along like troops in a battle, all through the meadows, the horses and cattle. All of the sides of the hill and plain fly as thick as driving rain. And ever again in the wink of an eye, painted stations whistle by. Here is a child who clambers and scrambles, all by himself and gathering brambles. Here is a tramp who stands and gazes, and here is the green for stringing the daisies. Here is a cart run away in the load, lumping along with man and load. And here is a mill and there is a river, each a glimpse and gone forever. In a railway carriage is actually a room on a train. A hedge is a sort of fence made out of a shrub or bush. A ditch is a long, low place where water can run off from a field or road. Troops, of course, means soldiers. A meadow is a grassy field, a place where you might find cattle, which means cows and bulls. Driving rain is heavy or blowing rain, as in a storm. And painted stations whistle by. To clamber is to climb up or down clumsily, not easily. And when you clamber, you might scramble or climb quickly, especially with both hands and feet. A bramble is any bush or vine with sharp thorns. Tramp is an old-fashioned word for a poor person without a home, one who moves around a lot. To gaze is to stare, to look in one direction for a long time. Stringing the daisies means making a chain of daisies, a daisy chain. To lump along would be to move heavily as a heavy cart would. A load is just anything heavy that is carried. An old-fashioned mill, in case you haven't seen one, looks like this on the outside and is a building where a stream turns the wheel which powers a big heavy machine for grinding grain. Finally, a glimpse is a quick look. Now we'll read the poem again faster and just think about the sound a train makes and listen for that sound in the poem. Also, the train in the poem is moving very fast. If you didn't catch that at first, keep it in mind the second time when we read it. Faster than fairies, faster than witches, bridges and houses, hedges and ditches, and charging along like troops in a battle, all through the meadows, the horses and cattle. All of the sides of the hill and plain fly as thick as driving rain, and ever again in the wink of an eye, painted stations whistle by. Here is a child who clambers and scrambles all by himself and gathering brambles. And here is a tramp who stands and gazes. And here is the green for stringing the daisies. Here is a cart run away in the road, lumping along with man and load. And here is a mill and there is a river, each a glimpse. Now I will do the explanation of the poem. Robert Louis Stevenson had written this poem in the 19th century when the train was transforming people's experiences of the world. This poem is actually description of images outside a train window. Children, you all must have sat in a train and looked outside the window, so you can easily relate to this poem. In the first paragraph, the poet says that the train travels faster than fairies and witches and runs past bridges, houses, hedges and ditches. Even though the bridges, houses, hedges and ditches are not actually moving, it is the train which is moving. But when the poet looks out of the train window, it seems as though they are racing with the train, and that the fast moving train is outracing them. The train is then compared to large groups of soldiers who are rushing into battle through vast fields of grass. The train also sees the horses and cattle. The hills and the plains seem to fly by, almost as fast as drops of rain. And although it is the train that is moving and whistling past stations, it seems as if the painted stations are whistling and rushing past the train. Means it is the train that is actually whistling, not the station, but the train gives the illusion that the surroundings are moving. Now, as the train moves forward, the speaker, he sees a child all by himself, moving quickly, using both his hands and his feet to collect blackberries from bushes. He also sees a tramp who stands and stares as the train goes by. The train passes by a green meadow with daisies that can be strung into garlands, and then it rushes past a cart that is struggling to move along the road because of the load which it is carrying. Finally, the speaker gets a quick glimpse of a mill close by and a river in the distance. Each of these images stay for an instant, and then as the train rushes past them, they are gone forever. So through this poem, the poet has very beautifully conveyed the experience of a railway journey, and he has used similes and imageries to add life to the poem. Children, I hope you must have understood the poem.